Bienvenidos a mi diario de Inglés Británico, un podcast para hispanohablantes que quieren entender inglés británico con confianza y progresar profesionalmente en el Reino Unido. Soy Shandon, coach nativo de inglés británico. Y sí, también hablo español. En cada episodio hablo en inglés británico real y conversacional, para que practiques tu comprensión auditiva y te acostumbres a cómo hablamos los nativos en la vida diaria. Hoy voy a hablar de mi rutina diaria y de lo que suelo hacer todos los días para ayudarte a tener el vocabulario en inglés que necesitas para hablar de tu propia rutina. Te recomiendo que escuches este episodio más de una vez. No te preocupes si no entiendes todo. Cada vez que escuches vas a entender más. Vale, empecemos. Welcome to episode 18 of the podcast. I'm excited to have you here, and I'm happy that you're committed to improving your English with me. Let's get started. Today I'm going to be speaking about a very common topic. Maybe this episode's not going to be as interesting as the episode about a Sunday roast, the traditional dinner in England. And maybe it won't be as interesting as the episode about my friend having a baby. But this episode is extremely important in terms of being able to understand and speak about what I'm going to talk about in today's episode. Because I'm going to be speaking about things that we do every day. This episode is all about my daily routine and what I usually do every day. I'll speak about my routine, how my weekdays are different from my weekends, and the things that I don't do every day, but that I try to do every week. So let's get into it. My day starts very early. I wake up at 4:30 a.m. pretty much every day, unless I have something that I'm doing the night before, or unless I stayed up late the night before. So I wake up at 4:30. I first started doing this 8 years ago, and I was inspired to do it even more when I read the book The 5 a.m. Club, which is my favorite book of all time. I wake up at 4:30 and I try to get up straight away. I try not to spend time just laying in bed. After getting up, I drink some water. That's always the first thing I do. And then I do some exercise. I don't go to the gym, but I do exercise at home. Things like press-ups and squats. After working out, I meditate. At the moment, I only spend 5 minutes meditating a day, but I want to start doing more. In the past, I used to meditate for 15 or 20 minutes, and it's something that really relaxes me and makes me feel calm, so I want to start doing more of that. After meditating, I make a cup of tea. I have fresh mint tea in the morning. That's the tea I always drink early in the morning. And then I start my work, usually around 5:30. I work for a couple of hours on my business, and then I have breakfast at 7:15. At the moment, as I mentioned in my episode about what I eat now, I have scrambled eggs with boiled potatoes and pan-fried carrots. It's a very simple but a very delicious breakfast. Then I brush my teeth, I shower, and I get dressed. And I start work again at 8 a.m. From 8 a.m. I then work until lunchtime. What I work on depends on the day. Sometimes I have lessons with my students. Sometimes I create content for social media or for this podcast. and sometimes I spend time learning and reading or watching videos to improve my skills. I then have lunch at about 12:15. Nowadays I have pork with vegetables, so a pork steak, usually with sweet potato, lettuce and beetroot. After that, I wash the plates and dishes, and then I go for a quick walk. It's important for me to spend time outside with fresh air. So I try to walk for about 30 minutes, so about half an hour, near my house, just to get outside, get some fresh air and relax. And I often go out without my phone because I spend time on my phone for my business. So I like to have some time without my phone as well. When I get back home, I start working again, and I work until dinner. So until about 6 or 6:30 p.m. I continue working on the most important tasks that I have, and often in the afternoon I have lessons with my students. Then I have dinner at around 6:30. What I have varies. Sometimes I have chicken with vegetables and rice. Sometimes I'll have beef steak with vegetables and rice, but usually it's a combination like that. Meat, rice, and vegetables. After dinner, what I do depends on the day. Sometimes I work. Sometimes I have lessons. Sometimes I visit my family. So my family live about 45 minutes away from me at the moment. So sometimes I take the train to go and visit them. Sometimes I just relax. And other times I spend time writing in my journal. As I said, it really depends on the day. At 8:30, I get changed. I get changed into my pajamas. Then I get my stuff ready for the next day. So my clothes, and if I'm going out, I get my bag ready and any food that I want to get ready before the next day. I then like to read and relax before bed. Reading is one of my favorite things to do, and I like to do it before bed, and I find it very relaxing. And then I go to bed at around 9:30, so 9:30 p.m. or 10 p.m. around that time every day, especially during the week, so from Monday to Friday. How about on weekends? What do I do then? So let's talk about Saturday first. My mornings are very similar on Saturday. I have my morning routine, I do my exercise and so on, and then I work until midday. I usually have a couple of lessons and do some other work as well. Then after midday, I usually go out and make plans. So maybe I'll go out for lunch or see a friend or something like that. On Sundays, I try not to do any work. Instead, I spend time in the morning planning and doing my own journaling as well. Then on Sundays, I usually go and see my family. So Sundays for me are a family day. So I try to see my family on Sundays. So that's what my routine is usually like. But there are some things that I try to do every week, not necessarily every day, but at least once a week, for example. One of these things is yoga. I try to do yoga at least once a week, usually on Sundays, because I find it very relaxing and it helps me to stretch and to feel better in my own body. Another thing is that I try to find at least 20 minutes a week to read. To be honest, I would like to read a lot more than that, but at the moment I'm very busy with other things. So I try to find at least 20 minutes once a week to read. I also try to see my family at least once a week. Preferably, I see them twice a week, but at the worst, I want to see my family once a week. And another thing is that I try to see at least one friend every couple of weeks. This isn't always possible because I'm busy, my friends are busy, and we have our own lives. But it's important to me to maintain those relationships and continue to grow those relationships. So once every couple of weeks, I try to make sure to see a friend. Okay, so there you have my daily routine. Is it similar to yours, or is it quite different? I would love to know what you think of this episode. Please message me on Instagram to tell me what you think. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Gracias por escuchar este episodio de mi diario de Inglés Británico. Ya has dedicado tiempo a tu aprendizaje hoy, y eso suma más de lo que crees. Poco a poco, tu inglés va a mejorar. Si vives en el Reino Unido y sientes que tu inglés te está frenando profesionalmente, te invito a hacer una evaluación de fluidez profesional gratuita conmigo. En esta sesión, analizo cómo hablas inglés hoy, identifico exactamente qué te está bloqueando y te explico qué necesitas trabajar para hablar con más claridad y confianza. No es una clase, es un diagnóstico claro y honesto de tu inglés hablado. Escríbeme por mensaje en Instagram para reservar tu evaluación. Dejo el enlace a mi cuenta en la descripción del episodio. Gracias y nos vemos pronto. Bye.